And what, just coaching in general?
Yeah, just my coaching specifically. What got you interested?
What got me interested? I don't know. Sometimes I'm doing a lot, and sometimes I'm just doing fuck all. So I just kind of want to be in a state where I kind of do at least something for all the time at least.
Sure, makes sense. How long have you been playing the game? I assume for quite a while, rank wise.
Yeah, I've been playing since 2016, and I was bronze back then.
Makes sense. But you're all the way top 50?
Yeah.
Okay. That must have been quite the path.
It was, yeah.
Okay. What motivated you to get there? Was there any sort of motivation, or just I wanted to play and it just happened?
There was a friend back in the day I was playing with. He was masters, and he was just making fun of me because I was gold. I was just slow, so I was I'll just be better than this guy. But he just quit, so now I guess I'm just doing it because
that's always how it happens. A little bit of good-natured bullying, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I'm the only one here now. What's going on? Hello, echo chamber. But yeah, okay. Well, regardless, I assume that you're obviously enjoyed the path, just in of itself since that started. What do you enjoy? I see that you're DPS primarily, flex. Has it always been like that? Have you flip-flopped around to roles? Have you daddled in hit scan or tank or support or anything like that? What?
I hit top 500 on both all three roles, but I first was just a one trick. Then I just became a hit scan player for a few years. Then I just switched back to flex DPS.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Okay. Well, I think right now we're at an interesting point with flex where it's the last 2 years really, where it's been kind of the death of the projectile, besides some main metas, but there's been a lot of opportunity to play Tracer, there's a lot of opportunity to play Sombra, and so it's right now I think in more ways than one, flex DPS is the most flex it's ever been. So okay, let's keep going here. So I guess goal wise, you say you want to go pro. Why?
I don't know. I just they say don't meet your idols, but I kind of want to because it's kind of cool to play with good players and see yourself improve along with them.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to get to the top. Right now, I know the IDOL doesn't exist anymore, but it's been a long goal of mine anyways for a really long time. So I'll still want to play at least contenders level. But,
yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I guess when they talk about meeting your idols, the reason why it's always there's two ways of people caution you for that. One is because obviously they might be douchebags, right? But I don't think that really bothers you, right? Who cares? Of course really. They're not really even your idols exactly. Anyway, they're just people that you look up to play right?
Right.
The other thing, and this is I think a little bit more applicable for you, is it's knowing what it took to get there, right? Because I think let's think about it this way: you have a bronze player come up to you and you're going to coach them, right? Pay you $7,000, right?
Jeez, yeah.
And they say, "Yo, what should I call you by the way? What would be easier, Katzen?"
Yeah, you could call me that.
All right, Katzen. And they're like, "Yo, Katzen, listen, I will pay you $10,000 if you can get me to top 500." If your first inclination isn't this sinking feeling of dread, then you don't know enough about improvement, because you know what the last 8 years for you has been like.
Yeah,
I know. They don't sometimes people just assume that it's to climb to top 500, to climb to top 50, it's you just you play and it's all you can think back is first off, I don't even know if you can get there. Second off, you have no idea what it's taken to get to this point. Right. Yeah. And this is kind of where you're at right now. I'm not saying from bronze to top 50 is the same sort of a jump from top 50 to contenders by any means. But it is another big jump for sure. And I think for you, it's not necessarily that more sacrifices have to be made, but you definitely have to take a look at what you're doing right now. And be okay, well, where am I willing to improve? Where am I willing to put effort and improve? Because right now, I'm looking at your hours. Obviously, to get to where you're at, you had to put hours in. Obviously, to stay where you're at, you're continuing 3 to 4, sometimes 6 to 7 hours per day, right?
Right.
That I'll be honest, you can get contenders with that. It's possible, very, very possible. Of course. In fact, I think more than 6 to 7 hours per day is probably not very useful. The question is not how much harder you have to be willing to work, but how much smarter you have to be willing to work. And I know that that's like cliche, but it's true. The reason why a lot of people don't work smarter, though, is it's really freaking hard. You can't. Are you familiar with Albert, the GM of Florida?
Yeah.
He tweeted something last season, which I think really resonated well with me. It's not this specific point, but it's over the overall concept. And he would say that, like, at Florida, it's like our players, when we finish scrimming, they take time, they like self-review. They go back and they watch like replay codes. They like get there and they watch replay codes. He's like, my guys don't finish, they don't finish scrims and jump into ranked. And it was like a bragging point for him because it was like, it showed that these guys aren't just here to like, they finish scrims, they've got a couple more hours left to go, and they don't just do the easy thing, right? Like I know so many players that like they'll do like 2 blocks, whatever, 3 blocks, and all they do is they just jump into ranked and they grind rank for 4 or 5 hours, right? Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is that they're not really playing the game, right? They're just there. They're just but they're not really engaged. They're not really focused. They're participating, and by participating in ranked, hey, I did a lot of ranked games, therefore I must be getting better. But that's not how it works, right? You have to. It's the number of hours that you're fully engaged. So for you, it's like you're there for 3 to 4, or sometimes 6 to 7 hours. That's awesome. But how many of those hours count?
Yeah.
How many of those hours count? I used to have this all the time when coaches would come up to me, like these college age coaches, and they'd be like, yeah, or these contenders coaches, they'd be like, I'm grinding the game. I'm coaching like 4 different teams right now. I'm in scrims from like 8, 9 hours a day, and then I'm watching like 3 to 4 hours of VODs, and I'm like barely sleeping. And this is a bit of an ego moment for me, but those guys were complete idiots. Not just like for what they were doing, but I knew their game knowledge. I knew their ability to communicate and like coach, and they were total jackasses. They were terrible coaches. They were the worst coaches I knew. And I'm like, you're pathetic. Like, you're actually pathetic. And I kind of felt sorry for them because somebody needed to slap them upside the face and be like, you're wasting your time, bro. You're wasting your time. These guys are spending easily 50% more hours than I was. And not only that, but also spending like doing it like every single freaking day, like 7 days a week. And they were morons. They were morons. Sure, they knew the game, but barely. You have to find like what's the biggest return on investment for my time. You know what I'm saying? For what you want to do. So obviously a lot of that is kind of an art in terms of like general guidelines. It's kind of hard to know case by case what's the most efficient thing to do. But here's some things I can guarantee you that you need to make sure that you're doing. Are you scrimmaging? Like, are you with a team right now?
I was. Then now I'm not right now.
You need to be. And if I understand that there's a lot of like drama, right, in teams, and there's a lot of team hopping. That's just normal. That's tier 3. That's tier 2. That's literally people just shuffle teams around all the time. That's what happens when you have a bunch of young people that have no control of their emotions and no leadership. And the leadership generally is their same age as well. It just people shuffle around all the time. But you need to be on a team. You need to be scrimmaging at least 3, if not 4 or 5 times a week. And you also need to not just join a team, turn your brain off, and show up. If you have had a lot of mixed history with teams in the past and you've had a hard time sticking with it or had a lot of drama, you need to be evaluating those situations to be like, okay, how could I have conducted myself better? How could I have handled that drama better? Because the bad news is it doesn't, I mean, you know this, right? But all the way up into Overwatch League, drama doesn't go away. Doesn't go away. And people don't even necessarily get better at handling it either. Like, oh, more mature, more professional. No way. They're better at playing the video game, so sometimes they're even worse. So you need to ask yourself, how am I acting myself? Am I conducting myself with maturity? Am I a good leader? Am I a good listener? Am I patient? And if not, practice it. And the only way to practice it is to put yourself in those slightly uncomfortable situations and grind it out. Grind it out. Be a better teammate. That should start as soon as you possibly can. You start doing that. You start taking ownership of like, here's another question. When's the last meta that you've played in a scrim environment?
What's the last meta I played?
Yeah. That you can remember.
Well, we played a bit of Maga, but we haven't figured that out much yet.
Yeah, so skip that one.
All right, yeah, skip that one. It was like the Sig name meta.
Okay, how confident were you at understanding the macro of that composition and the ult the ult trades, like how the ultimate game worked?
have a 10?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I guess like a 6.
You make it an 8 or a 9.
Okay.
Right. I'm not just saying it needs to be an 8 or a 9, but wherever you are at that point in time, make it a number higher than that. Right. I think we're at a point in time where like DPS players can't be stupid. 6 isn't stupid, but 6 isn't smart enough. Right. Everybody you need to know the role you need to, and I'm not saying like you need to know your Sigma's CD cycles, right? Like I need to know what's the best CD to open with. That's not your responsibility, but you need to know the ult game. That is definitely going to affect how you play that, right? And so I think like that's the kind of stuff you also need to ask yourself, did I come up with any new ideas? Would you play Mei in that?
Yeah, I played Mei.
Yeah. Did you come up with any like new ideas of your own or develop or like evolve as a Mei player during that meta a lot?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But how did you do that? Just from grinding in scrims? That's how most people do it.
Normally, when I thought about Mei, like I just stick to get like this hard just rushing. But like I watch a lot of like other Mei players who are like
good.
And they like to like hold off angles time to time.
Yeah, exactly. Everything starts fast, right? In mirror matchups, and it always slows down the higher level of play and the more people practice, right? And it slows down to off angles, right? Yep. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff you need to be doing. Like right there, you watching Meis that are either better than you or as good as you. Even the Meis that are as good as you might pick up some ideas. Taking some time to do that, that's efficient time. Right? Rather than going on an alt and, OTPing Widow. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, 100%. But see, that's not very fun all the time. Like it's not fun. Like if you don't have a full grasp of the old economy, it might not be immediately fun to figure out how that old economy worked, to figure out how, should you be comboing Blizzard with Flux, right? When is it good to beat engage? When is it not, right? And I think having like a surface level understanding of that stuff is really, really, really important. And that's going to make you not only a better player, but a much more valuable teammate as well, which people need. People look for that. There were very, very few stupid players in OWL, at least in comparison to like tier 2. Let's put it that way. There are some stupid players, but comparatively, everybody is smarter in Overwatch League. And that's essentially what you're competing for, right? Tier 2, tier 1, and so on. So, okay. Any questions so far?
Not on top of my head.
Okay. You notice that this conversation is like a little all over the place, right? But these are the things that matter, right? Ranked practice. I would say that you need to be like have like a game plan, a soft game plan of what you're grinding in ranked. Like you just should not be like treating ranked as if I'm just kind of playing or even necessarily playing for a ranked. What I would be doing is I'd be treating ranked as like the environment with which you develop your mechanics at a specific subset of heroes. In other words, if you're playing a lot of Mei and scrims and you're trying to improve your Mei mechanics, you should be playing at least 30, 40, or maybe even 50% of Mei in ranked. The other characters, doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want to play. Like say right now, you're in between teams. You're trying to develop your Tracer mechanics. You need to be playing at least 50, 60, 70% of Tracer and ranked. I don't care what they play. I don't care the map. You need to play Tracer. And your hero pool should always reflect what characters that you're trying to practice. And that sounds dumb, but if you're trying to play a character because, hey, this is the character that's going to win me that game and get me that ranked 48, ranked 45, ranked 32 spot, it doesn't matter. It's screw off. Don't waste your time. If you're good, like let's put it this way: if Kevster were to one trick Tracer or to two trick Tracer Mei, do you think Kevster would be stopped from hitting number 1?
No.
Obviously not. And you're not Kevster, but if you act in a way similar to Kevster, you will start to find that your rank will start to reflect those decisions. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do exactly what Kevster does, but there are some lessons to be learned from that.
Right.
Also looking at your form here, sleep. There's zero reason for a player of your caliber to be getting underneath 8 hours of sleep per night, unless you have significant health issues. That's going to help with your emotional regulation. It's going to help with your raw reaction time. It's going to help with your decision making in the heat of the moment. And it's also going to help with you actually learning and remembering things. The best thing that you can do after you have a hard day of grinding ranked, scrims, VOD review, whatever, is to get a good night's sleep. It's how your body actually like downloads the information and it transitions into long-term memory. It's through sleep. And the difference between 7 and 8 hours of sleep is very large. So I highly recommend, if at all possible, you take that a little bit more seriously.
Okay.
If you haven't noticed, this is some nasty stuff, right? That we're talking about. We're not talking about like, there's a new Kovacs playlist that you need to be grinding, right? This is what it takes, right? This is what it takes. Like, not every pro that's gotten to pro has gotten to pro by doing what I'm telling you right now. But every pro that stayed pro has stayed pro this way. There's so many what I like to call black holes, which were big, giant red stars that burned themselves out in the first thing because they couldn't handle the pressure. And they couldn't handle the pressure because they didn't sleep well. They were degens. They didn't know how to self-review. They didn't have the right attitude. They were not good teammates, and they just flame out. Every single time you go like, oh man, that player had such potential. I wonder why. This is why they didn't in Overwatch League. It's because of crap like this, because they're a total caveman. And the thing is, the vast majority of players that did get to OWL were doing at least some of these things better than the average tier 2 player. You just can't. Like you look at a player like Hadi, right? And you're like, yeah, Hadi just grinds rank. That's how he got to be that smart. Like Bull, right? Nobody gets to be that smart at understanding like matchups and macro and push and pull without like studying the game a long time. Nobody gets to like RuPaul's level by just grinding rank 24/7, right? In fact, in a lot of ways, that's why a certain unnamed American team had so many players that struggled under pressure the last few years, because that's all they did was grind ranked. But yeah. Anyway, any questions so far?
I'm following.
Okay. I only have one more little point I'll say here. 2 more points, actually. One, what do you feel is holding you back from improving? You say mechanics and just being dumb. Okay? Just being dumb, get smart. Stop making excuses. Fix it by studying replay codes of better players than you. And when you get back into scrimming, which should be sooner rather than later, learn the macro. Learn the old economy. And again, I'm not saying every single detail of the compositional matchup. The details generally don't matter that much unless they're your details. The big picture, basic, overall, how do we play this map? How do we play this comp? That stuff. You might be wrong, but you will never learn until you have trial and error moments, right? Don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to be stupid. I would rather you be stupid than ignorant, right? Because stupid means that you think you know something because you try to learn something and you were wrong. Okay, ignorant means that you don't know anything and you're going to remain not knowing anything. That's even worse. The ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance is just laziness. In regards to mechanics, there's only 3 things that you could do about mechanics. You can sleep better, you can play more, and you can play consistently. And that's all you can do. And as long as you're checking those 3 boxes, then you don't worry about it. And I also know that most DPS players blame mechanics when generally it's not the most important thing. It's just the most obvious thing a lot of the time. Because it's always like, if I had hit that shot, we would have won this fight. And you're right. But the problem is that nobody hits every shot. Nobody. So anybody can say that, right? So you need to define what's the most important thing. And that's a lot trickier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing I'll say, do you take breaks at all during your grind sessions?
I go eat or something. I go eat like just like dinner or like lunch.
Okay, perfect. I would put more priority on taking as many breaks as you possibly can without like completely disrupting your play schedule. Because the reality of the situation is that, again, you only have so many hours of full focus, right? So if you think of it like running as fast as you can, right? How long can you run as fast as you can, right? Maybe 100 meters, 150 meters, 200 meters, something like that, right? If you're really, really good, right? But the reality of the situation is at some point you're going to have to slow down. Well, we don't want to slow down. When you slow down, you're not training speed. You're doing nothing. You're developing cardio endurance, but you're not developing speed. So what do you do when you start to slow down a little bit? You stop. And then you run again. You get me?
Yeah.
And smart sprinters will sometimes stop before they even get tired. They'll run 50 meters and they'll stop, even though they could run another 50. Why? Because they don't want to get tired before they have to stop. They want to stop, restart, go again. Stop, restart, go again. 50 meters at a time. That's how you should be in some way, shape, or form handling ranked as well. 2 games, 3 games, take a break. You're like, I'm not tilted. I'm fine. I'm not even tired. Doesn't matter. Get up from the computer. Get up from the computer. That's the crucial point people miss. Go outside, grab some water for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, come back and do it again. You do that consistently. Not only will you notice that you're able to play for longer with more focus, but you'll also find that you're better at not only emotionally regulating yourself, but you're sweating. You'll be able to sweat a little bit more in your games. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Something to toy with. That could be a break between every game. It could be a break every hour. But the biggest thing is that it happens frequently. It doesn't have to be long, and that it's literally physically walking away from your computer. Otherwise, you're screwing yourself over. Okay. Does all this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have anything else to add after that clip dump. And if any questions come up now or in the future, just message me. All right.
All right.
You want to look at some gameplay?
Sure.
Okay. Let's do that. Got a code?
Yeah, I got a code. 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm the one with the janky letters on Echo.
This one?
Yep.
Lovely. Okay. So why Echo? Is this all the way through Echo, or do you swap?
I swap. Basically the enemy team, the Rakuzan guy. He's like a known Junkrat player on NA, but he was cheating. I didn't know that until the game ended. But he
a cheating Junkrat player.
Yeah, but he picked Junkrat like the previous map, so I just went Echo.
I gotta see this. There's just no way. Cheating Junkrat player.
Yeah.
So is this mostly Tracer?
Mostly Tracer, yes.
Okay, so you'd like to focus on the Tracer, I assume?
Yeah, well, I mean, I died on Echo, that instant swap to Tracer, I think. No, I
play one ult cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, one alt cycles.
Do you want to look at the Echo then, or do you just want to focus on the Tracer?
I honestly did fuck all on Echo, but we can still look at it.
All right, we can take a look. Check the volume here. Yeah, it could be a little louder. Not a real human.
He was ranked 1 last season on Doom. I thought this game was about to be a free win. I can't. Never. Ryan one trick. We have the best Doom. Well, one of the best Doom on NA.
Yeah.
And he just fell off the map, though.
That's unlucky. It's all right. Happens to the best of us. Nice sickies. Nice. Good. Good. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say there. The Sojourn on the Mega here, the first little engagement you took was a little shaky aim-wise, but
yeah.
Beyond that, I mean, it's whatever.
I used to play a lot of Echo in Overwatch 1. I stopped playing her in Overwatch 2. So, like, if you see something really shaky about Echo,
yeah,
that's probably one of the reasons why.
One thing I will say is this is the second time you did it. The first one was when the Rhine did the rollout across. Be really careful how you use your stickies, right? Maybe this is like a little bit more important, not important, but more impactful in Overwatch 1. But it ain't worth it to use it on a Rhine here, unless he's like, you're gonna guarantee full sticky him. It's certainly not worth using on his shield. Just hold the stickies, right? Because it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, look, he takes space immediately afterwards, but my goodness gracious, I wish we had stickies now, right? So if you're going to use them for poke, it's fine. Just don't do it on Rhine. Okay. Not worth your time. Because this guy should be dead.
He doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting pocket. I mean, it's Overwatch 2 run. That's a little more beef. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Okay, let's keep going. Figure if we don't get a lot to look at with Echo, because there's only a little bit, maybe there's just a detail for you to keep an eye on next time you play.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine because you landed it, right? So if you hit it, it's fine.
If I miss, it's it.
Right, you're literally trolling the lobby. That's all it is. S tier coaching. Just don't miss. Nice shots. I think here. So first up, you could deepen your angle here as long as you have a mercy pocket. So like right here, I wouldn't even really bother with the stickies. I would rotate to where? Where would you go?
Bottom left.
Mm-hmm. Bottom left. Poke. This cart rotates the corner. Then you could start to use hug the wall kind of a thing here. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is your dive from this angle here.
That's the one thing I've been noticing in my gameplay is that when I do take an off angle, I don't go much deeper even though I can. I think that's one of the things my friends told me, and he was contenders. Is he's looking at my gameplay and is I don't go much deeper than I could. Yeah.
On Echo or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay, yeah, that could be a bit of a problem depending on what's meta, right? Like something like Genji, Tracer, Echo. You're gonna be looking for these, right? Because this is. You need to make plays, I think, especially in Overwatch 2. Like everything is about making a play, right? There's a lot more self-sufficiency with what you can do and plays that you can make. So if you're not making those plays, then you're kind of screwing yourself over. And when it comes to playmaking, 90% of it is, it's 50 mechanics, 50% positioning, and 90% of those positions are usually off angles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. Stickies like that are always fine. Just make sure that okay, every time I commit the stickies, my next stickies better not be in a Rhine shield kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
This is
troll here. I remember.
This is okay because you're guaranteed gonna hit this guy, right?
Yeah, but no, this is where it gets kind of bad, I think.
Let me look at this a little bit carefully. So this is an interesting one. This is maybe a little bit more macro here. Okay, so maybe we could start to make you think about this situation a little bit more. Because I don't think what you do is bad. But there's options. Derpy is a Rhine one trick, right? And Derpy knows how to make space with Reinhardt. Derpy feeds, okay? So Derpy feeds, way overextended, right? Full sticky, full beam, the guy's dead, right? Wrong. Derpy turns around, he holds shield, he gets all of his support's resources, and he lives. Question is where did those supports come from? Nobody looked at them besides your JQ, right?
Right.
So you have a really, really tough question here. At this point in time, do you give this attention or do you not?
I guess I don't.
I don't think it's necessarily a mistake that you do because you're obviously in a pretty good position to light him up. But I want you to remember this, right? Anytime a tank like this overextends, if you do not kill them, they're the best tank in the lobby, is the way to look at it. You kind of see what I'm saying? Because right here is a perfect opportunity for you to just ignore the Rhine, fly forward. You've seen him use his mobility, and these guys are all dead. Every single one of them. They're all dead. Just food for thought. I don't think, again, I want to be very clear. I don't think it's necessarily a mistake that you did that. The big problem there is that your Widow got murked as well, but it's just a good reminder, right? You want to get smarter, recognize things like that. Understand what that tank wants to do.
Okay.
Wait, there's no way. This is the most valuable Rhine copy I think I've ever seen. Because I'm sitting there thinking wow, I'm surprised you didn't do a dive bomb, right? Fly over and try and land here, maybe copy Curie or something like that. But no, you actually copy Rhine. You hit a 2-man fire strike. What is that? 2-man swing, and then a 3-man shatter.
Honest to God, I did not mean to copy Ryan there.
That is actually insane.
Because I don't like copying Ryan because he just doesn't provide better value than it was in an Overwatch.
Yeah. No. I mean, it makes sense. I think if you do have copy, though, I think you would have chosen a more aggressive angle, no? Like, would not flying up and over, trying to touch from this angle here make more sense? Like, a Curie copy from here? Maybe not. Maybe. I'm honest.
At that point.
Yeah, no, I get you. But I think you guys have to take some sort of a risk at that point, right? You guys are pushing back into their space. Something has to happen.
Right. I'm a burger right here, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, this is okay. So this is what good rotation does, right? Like, you got to give credit where credit is due, right? What is so difficult about what they're doing?
They're just bum rushing. There's really nothing I could do.
Right. So they're rotating underneath out of your LOS, and then not only that, but the Widowmaker is doing what we call a CCTV, right, where they have like a security camera on the off angle, right, to where you can't just fly around behind, right? So it's actually a really nice little setup that they got going. Your problem is that you are not setting up an off angle here. What I want you to do is I want you to be thinking of, like, anytime that you're a character with mobility, your ability is to rotate around in a circle depending on where the enemy team is and where your team is. So right now, with what you see, you're across from the enemy team, but you're stacked with your tank, right? Because you have to rotate out, right? Makes sense. So where should you rotate to set up an off angle? This one's not easy. Go ahead.
I think I could go. I fly in 2 seconds. I could maybe set up going to, like right and just landing on the.
Yeah. You sure could. You could fly up to here. You could fly up to here. You could even just fly up and over and try to, like, see if because that Widow's probably she's going to have to walk forward at some point, right? So then you could look to catch that. But the problem is that you end up rotating inside here because you're like, oh, I want to shoot people. But you got to think strategically about this, right? First off, you're running directly into your Widow. Second off, your Jungle Queen's already here, right? So when everybody is here, where's your off angle, right? You're in the middle of nowhere. You're in the middle of the entire enemy team. So instead, let's evaluate that from where would you go? You tell me exactly where would you go?
So I would have my flight. I would fly top right. Then I would, like, kind of look and, like, see what they do because they're not gonna notice me. They might not. Even if they do, I could just land in with a mercy pocket.
Sure.
And just look for, like, an off angle.
And so we don't even have to, like, wonder what would have happened because we can see it right here. Yeah. Soldier, Ryan, Widow, Bat. There it is. There's your opportunities right there, right? They line themselves up. And we knew they would because we knew the position was good. Positioning creates opportunity. Make sense?
Yep.
That was nerve-wracking.
I know.
Like, no way. There's the swap's good. Like the harassment here, it's good. Good. I would just re-engage from the angle, same angle that you're on. Because she doesn't have to drop to see it, right? So, I mean, this is fine. But I think it would have been much easier just to retake this angle here and just hold the angle here, right? More easier direct pressure. That's all right. Good kill. Waiting for your Malga. Malga's in. Start shooting. There it is. Nice timing. Beautiful. Nice. That was good. Heart attack. Okay. Good. Carried that fight. Well done. So let's go back. Oh, you're pulling the cardinal sin of Tracer players.
Oh. Pulsing to the main?
Well, pulsing through main, but also it's just because you have pulse on doesn't mean you're allowed to cheat your timing. So right now, who's engaged?
Not really.
No, nobody, right? Nobody. Your Malga doesn't have a sight line. Your Widow doesn't have a sight line. Heck, your BAP doesn't even have a sight line, right? So what are the odds that this pulse kills anybody?
Probably close to, like, it was kind of a gamble, honestly.
Right. So the reason why timing pulse bomb is so important is 2 reasons, right? Well, 3 reasons, actually. 1, you're wasting a resource pre-fight, right? If people panic around your pulse bomb, even if you don't hit it, if your team's there, people will die, right? Ryan turns shield. You see that? Mm-hmm. Your Widow could get something off of this, right? You kind of see what I'm saying? Like, your Widow could get something off of this, but she can't because she can't see. Second reason why is you're more likely to be shot in the head and die because everybody's looking at you. And number 3 is because everybody's looking at you, it's also a lot harder to stick people. Their movement's a lot more unpredictable. Whereas if they're in the middle of a combat, people are not as focused on their movement, and so it's a lot easier to stick people that don't know that you're there. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't overthink pulse bomb, but I would try to make sure that whenever you go for a pulse, just wait. There's no reason to do anything here. Okay. Because you could sit and wait and wait and wait, and then there's the pin, here's the pulse. You see it?
Yep.
Team's engaged now, right? Look at your Malga. Look at your Widow. Look at your BAP. By engaged, I don't necessarily mean diving, just shooting engaged, right? And there's your opportunity for pulse right there. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. I like the angle that you're holding here. Just Okay. Do you remember this fight over here when the Rhine penned? Remember this one when you were on Echo?
Yeah.
And remember where we had this big quandary about, like, you can definitely punish that Rhine because you're a damage boosted Echo, but also look what it cost. And it was a real philosophical moment, right? This is like, I'm 13 and this is deep, So, but you're not a damage boosted Echo.
Yeah.
So what should you be doing right now?
I should just be holding their support lines.
Exactly. Hold the support line. Let the Rhine feed. Your team will handle it. They're more equipped to deal with it, and they're also better positioned to deal with it. You cannot chase. I think one of the biggest things that Hydron says with his Tracer coaching, which I really agree with, is that, like, you need to avoid chasing as Tracer, if that makes any sense. You find a good angle and you utilize that angle. Don't chase, because this costs you resources and time. It means that when you get here, if you take any damage, you cannot blink. You have to recall. You see?
Yeah.
And so then you're not even going to be very good at controlling backline. In fact, you're actually vulnerable to their backline. And so now you're totally disengaged. Whereas instead, you sit here, you shoot, you harass, you are more conservative with resources, you have a higher chance of getting a kill, you distract more members of the enemy team, and then you do this kind of a foolishness, right? Hold the angle, know your matchups. I mean, do you see how this is? You've literally had no chance to breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some major fan behavior, I will say.
I looked at this bag and it was really bad, actually.
Well, I guess 1 for 1 then. Could have been a lot worse. The funny thing is that he should not have chased you because you didn't have any resources anyway. Like, you couldn't do anything anyway, right? So if he had turned his attention to shooting on main, they would have just won the fight.
That's what I initially thought. Like, this guy's probably actually cheating because he's actually brainless.
Yeah. He's also a Junkrat player, so.
That is also true.
Junkrat players are by far best fit the stereotype kind of a thing, Out of all the players I've ever worked with. Just a little unhinged. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Let's keep going here. So I want to see, a little bit less propensity to chase that tank on Tracer. I think the angles you're holding are okay. The timing of the pulse bomb, just some fundamental stuff. Echo was mostly about, like, how and when you're using stickies on Rhine, as opposed to, like, saving them for duels really late in poke phase. But let's just keep going. Good staging here. You can go. And this is perfect timing, right? Because there's a trade happening. So even if you don't win this trade because support, Ryan dies for it, right? Or Ryan gets severely punished for it. And that's the thing, right? And that's your kill, right? Nice job. Good angle, good timing, good mechanics as well. Look at this a little bit more carefully. I mean, I get the urgency here. You know, he is low. I guess more than anything else, I think this is just you miscounted your blinks kind of a moment. I know you wanted to recall back to high, but at that point, I think I'd rather have my recall and stay on high or stay on low. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Good angle. It's good. Nice. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Let me look at this one more time. So starting with the attempt on the BAP. All right, so let's actually talk about this here. You force him out. I don't think I go back for 25 HP. I think I actually hold the angle here. I think what I would consider doing is doing exactly what you did, where you drop, go for a clip, then recall back to high. Then I consider going for healing. The reason why is because this fight is starting. You see this? You need, when the fight starts, when the tank trade starts, you need to be on the angle that you need, that's best for your character. And it's not here. Now, I know you're here to get healing, but even if you had gotten healing, you probably would have been late to pressuring backline anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just make sure that you're on an angle, pressuring at the right time, and then always evaluate, like, was I late? Why was I late? Like, why did I fail here? You know, part of it was that Kiriko, but like part of it also started before that Kiriko was even there. Okay, you're fine. You're on. It was a good try, I guess.
Our Ana's a Mercy player, like an infamous Mercy one trick. Like she went Ana for some reason, but I guess it all worked out.
All right, explain this to me.
So basically, I know like the Ryan wants to hold really close, so I'm just perma shooting and building pulse, and like on that off angle, a lot of room. But this is just like a bot blank. Like I just.
So you're saying like you want to perma shoot the Ryan in the corner here?
Yeah, I just want to like pressure him out. If I build pulse, I could force resources out.
Right. I think again you're thinking about the wrong target though.
I'm talking about the wrong target.
I don't think Ryan. I'm going to be frank with you. The best thing that you could do here is pressure Ryan a little bit, like you said. But then what? You make him back up to this corner here, right? You guys turn the corner a little bit easier. Then what? Where do you go from here?
I'd probably go to the same mega I was playing earlier.
So like all the way across here? But you see how uncomfortable that is, correct?
Right.
You need to be thinking 2 steps ahead. You need to take an angle that works now and it has options to work 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15, 20, 25 seconds from now. The angle that you chose right now does not do that.
Right.
If you're going to harass Ryan out, blink through here and shoot the Ryan in the back from here. Why?
Because I'm already set up where I want to go at.
Right. So then you can go here. And then you can go here. And then you can go here. Right? There's a reason why the side of the map is good is because it has level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? This does not. So I appreciate that you're thinking about it ahead of time as my Overwatch just crashes. That was weird. But I don't think this is it. I don't think this is it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me restart then. That was weird. I've never had that happen before.
That blink was so bad it crashed your game.
Yeah, I know. I had that actually happen a couple times recently, but it was a specific map. I forget what map it was, would crash the replay viewer. Would corrupt it, but it wasn't just me. But I've never had that happen before. You might need to click my face in Discord because I have to restart stream, so you have to like...
Yeah.
Jimmy, rig it up again. Okay, you back in?
Yeah, I'm back.
Alrighty.
Ready for battle.
Here. Or no, a little further. It's very loud. Okay. Yeah, so this is where we were at right here. Okay. Weird. Whoa, did you see this? See these options? Right here, the 7 here.
Mm-hmm.
This always resets when I restart Overwatch. It did not reset. I've never had that happen before. Bizarre. Okay. Yeah, I'm also kind of confused by the enemy team. Because if I saw a Tracer doing this here, if I'm Kiriko, I throw one kunai, like just, you know, like one kunai and you're screwed. So I guess mission accomplished for what you wanted to go for. And you know what? I'd rather you be stupid than ignorant. Remember we talked about that, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather you do what you just did than just turn off your brain and just play ranked. So I respect it. And you did get here. So haters gonna hate, but you know. It worked. Now, one thing is that first blink give me an aneurysm. You need all 3 for this guy, right? Obviously. So that's kind of unfortunate. Close. That should have been finished. That's okay. Angle's fine. Good. Kind of an all-in punch play, you know? Where it's like, I have recall, I have blinks, she's isolated. She also has rail. I full int, and then I recall back to high ground, and crucially, I recall back on an angle to where I can actually shoot people some more, right? Even though I don't have my re. That's fine. This area is also super, super uncomfortable. Nicely done. Good fight from really, really good fight. Oh, let's do it. Is this a triple blink? No, not even. You don't even need it. No. That's wild.
This is kind of the place where I kind of feel like a bot, because if I go like all the way left side, I'm like kind of easily poked down. But
well, now by left side you mean coast, right?
Yeah, coast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is the way that you need to think about it. You need to be a little patient and wait for opportunities. So what I mean by that is like what you're doing right now. This angle's really only going to work when. And by that I mean like through here, right? When is this going to work?
When they're not holding top.
Right. So when are they not going to hold top?
When the card's like far enough.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to have to drop, right? So basically you're waiting for that trigger to pull in, rip out. Okay? How would you play this on this side here?
I guess I just wait until the card progresses and whenever it drops, I just keep shooting.
Sure. Are you likely to be able to like get any clean one clips or catch anybody totally isolated?
Probably not.
No, but that's not what that Tracer doesn't need to do that. Right. I did Kevster POVs before Christmas. And basically I was laughing at my, at chat because it's like I was pointing out like, exactly how he's playing in these dive mirrors, and it's like, you see how unflashy this is, right? Like obviously at points he sees opportunities, he gets these crazy kills, but this guy's playing resource cooldown forcing simulator, right? And that's just a lot of what Tracer is, right? Like you don't have the ability to just click, pop 2 people's heads off, right? So you talk about like, what can I do here? Well, you could shoot the Rhine in the back, and you can force Baptiste shift. But you see what you're doing right now, right? So first off, a good kill, right? But do you need to one-clip this guy?
No.
No, you don't. And so the problem with going for a all-in right here is, what if he turns and clips you right now? Then what do you do?
I just recall.
You recall. And then where do you recall to? Right? And then what do you do? Can you pressure him anymore?
No.
No. Now you could shoot Rhine, right? a little bit. But I don't think you need to go for these crazy hard ends when you could just sit here and just play. I think of it this way. When you're here, I want lamp, I want regenerative burst, and I don't want this Ryan. I don't want him using window. That's my goal. That should be your goal. Does that make sense? And it's not because you can't kill BAP, right? I mean, obviously he is a hard target to kill. It's because I would rather go for that than go for a one clip, recall out, and let him just relax and use his BAP window. Don't make it a check of whether you can get the one clip or not. Instead, distract him for longer and longer and longer. Take more of his attention. Make the Kiriko come back and heal him. Make the Reinhardt throw a fire strike your direction. You kind of see what I'm saying? There's a little bit of an urgency here that's not necessary. I mean, it's not the reason why you guys lose this fight, but it is a habit I've noticed. I don't think you get out, yeah. Okay. Hold an angle, you force resources, you force attention. Good. Good. Fine. Good. So the question, though, is why did that Rhine die?
Because his BAP's attention was on the Hanzo.
Why was the BAP's attention on the Hanzo?
Because he was low, and I was like shooting at him.
Right? And I know this sounds like, I'm coaching a plat tracers kind of stuff, but I don't mean that, right?
Yeah.
Even the best players need to be reminded of this. I mean, I've coached Shax, who's, I think, top 10, 11 tracers ever in the history of Overwatch. And we had conversations like these more times than I can count. Because every now and then there's this impatience, right? And it's a feeling of like, I'm not contributing, right? But you are. You just don't always know it. See, this pulse has huge potential. Huge potential. Why?
Because their aggro is not drawn on me.
Right? Now, obviously, it got Suzu'd. Shame on you for not tracking the 7 different cooldowns that can counter it. But huge potential because everybody's... And the funny thing is you guys still might get value out of it because everybody had to press S out of it. Now they don't have Suzu. There's an opportunity now. Now, will it matter? I don't know. But at least for the box that we wanted you to check earlier, did the job. Like I said, Junkrat players.
Yeah.
You don't need to kill this character. You just need to live. Good. Good. That's it. Nicely done. Just force Kitsune almost by yourself.
That's true.
Okay. Fortunate. This one... You coach yourself on this one. You coach yourself on this engagement. I don't even care if you want to talk about the micro. Go for it. You ready?
Okay.
So you're down 1, obviously. A little bit unfortunate.
Yep.
What do you think? Or anything, or just not that deep?
I probably didn't even force my re at this point. Maybe that's like a really low thing, but I think because I went like one more deeper, I had to force my re, and I was like, I had to force myself into a situation where it's kind of a spam lane. Maybe it's not that deep, but like maybe that's like a micro detail that I'm thinking.
Did the aggression almost get you the kill?
Close.
Was the aggression worth it? Is the question, right?
I don't think so.
You don't think so, or you do think so?
Not necessarily, because like we're still down 1. But I don't know. I'm just like in the tough situations because like sometimes like I tell myself like if we're down 1, I just kite, or like if we're down 1, I have to like try to make something happen. I'm just like always split between those two, and I guess it's all up to the situation.
They're both good choices. That's the thing, right? like they're both good choices. It just depends on which one makes more sense in the moment, right? For example, right now, do you need to make a play or do you need to kite or play slow?
I think I could maybe like force this Kiri to like Suzu or like TP out at this point because she's very far in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I need to do more than that. I can't kill her, obviously.
Right.
But I think I just need to like try to force her abilities and kite so we have like an advantage.
Sure. So maybe try, like you said, try to not get your reforce, but the idea wasn't bad. Just maybe a little bit too aggressive when you weren't going to get the kill.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's agreeable. Now, the reason why I'm asking this is because I really don't think it's that important that you make the decision here. But this is something that I want you practicing doing. We talked about this earlier in the review, right? You need to be thinking ahead of time, not ahead of time, but you need to be thinking about your gameplay. You need to be thinking about the mistakes that you make. You need to be thinking about your good and bad tendencies and developing your good ones more and working on your bad ones, right? And you need to be less dumb, right? And you right there did a really, really nice analysis of the situation and came away with some details about like, the Kiriko, I just need to live and force the CDs, but I'm in a position to where I can't really get the kill. So I can't really get my recall forced and, we're down one. Yeah, I think everything that you said, totally agree with. Good logic, good macro, totally makes sense, 100% agree. Now do that more. Do that more. And do that more about even trickier situations, right? Situations that you're like, I don't really know what I should have done here, what angle I should have taken, or I don't know how to play this matchup. Pull up the replay viewer. Don't sit there for an hour. Sit there for 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Take a look at it. Good. You're a little slow re-engaging here. I like the high ground you took, but yeah.
I did that because someone was screaming in team chat that Junkrat's 1 HP on high ground. I was looking for him. I just lost.
Yeah, no. I think taking high ground was good. I just think now that you got here, we needed you to be engaged a little bit faster. But this is fine. Okay. What do you think of this?
I don't think that was bad.
I think it was pretty saucy, right? You saw no TP, opportunity for a kill. Real opportunity for a kill, so you egoed for it. You greeted, and you got it. Yeah. Nice job. Now what do you need to do?
I just live.
You live. Exactly. So here, I don't even know if I'm peeking this guy. I might blink back this way. I think I might blink back towards this. I don't know if I even want to... I'm out of here. I'm out of here, mate. This is terrifying.
It is.
Good. Probably worth to stick the pulse just in case,
Yeah.
Make sure you cap. Nice job. Very, very nice job.
Okay. I think this is like one of the fights where I actually said fuck all, but we still won. That's like I'm trying to see if I could like have done anything to like actually make more impact on the fight. But like from my POV, it just looks like I did fuck all.
You just carried the last fight. You guys would not have capped.
But third point, like this point right.
Oh.
This point right. This point right here. This is like I did like I think I did solid on like last point, but this point like I feel permanently useless, and I'm just kind of like relying on my team to actually do something for me. But, like,
why do you think you feel useless?
It's kind of hard for me to like engage or like try to take fights because they have like angles. It's everywhere I go on this part of the map, like last fight. If I take angles, like it's kind of an open space, so I'm easily poked down. And
so what's the solution then?
Do I just like keep waiting until like I find my opportunities?
What do you mean? Explain.
Just swap heroes?
No,
like,
not necessarily.
I'm like maybe thinking like maybe it's a timing issue because I'm going in too early and everyone's just looking at me.
Could be. Timing is definitely really, really important when the angles are bad. Because your window of opportunity is very small, right? Before they look at you. Do you think it's a timing issue now?
No, I think like we were engaging at the right time. But
I think so too. So what's the issue here?
I just use all my abilities, so I'm forced to read stuff like...
Are you going to kill this Baptiste?
Nope.
Zero chance. Double CDs. So then what's going to happen? within 0.5 seconds.
I'm just gonna force 3. I'm gonna be.
And so then what are you gonna do now?
Just turn my weight.
Right. So then what was the solution instead?
I just keep tickling them until they look at me and just draw aggro.
Sure. Play what your angle. Now, here's a question. Why did you have to engage with 3 blinks here?
I didn't have to.
But why did you have to reach the target that you wanted to go for?
Because I'm not set up properly.
Could be. I think you could have maybe set up a little bit earlier. So what could you have been doing right now?
I could just walk over to the room on the left.
Right. Now, I know you're scared of the Curie, but at the very least, you could have been here. Right? You could have been here. So then 1 blink and then shoot. Blink up to here, shoot. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have a problem with a lot of your engages sometimes feel like it's all in or nothing. And I think it has more partly to do with the timing or the placement of your positioning, but also partly in part due to a little bit too much of an urgency to I have to get a 1 clip right now instead of just forcing CDs, forcing resources, forcing CDs, forcing resources. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Something to keep an eye on. All right, do it again. See, even here, it's like, it's the right idea, it's the right angle, you've already used 3 blinks.
Yeah.
Most of this, to be fair, is you just weren't set up. See, there's 2 blinks right there.
Yeah.
But even this blink right here, totally unnecessary.
Right.
He's not even looking at you. You have cover. You need that blink. You're good. This is perfect. This is great. Use it. And there it is. Agony, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. You weren't. You were useless. You were basically totally useless this fight. Why? What did you do wrong? What do you need to do better?
I needed to be set up so where I don't have to burn all my abilities to get to a target I want.
Correct. And then when you were set up, to not feel like I have to go in there and 1 clip the Hanzo and then recall out again.
Yeah.
Right? The mentality is just more patient, consistent. You need to soften them up before you punch them down the throat. That's not just an Overwatch 2 fundamental. That's the Overwatch 1 fundamental. That's any sort of first-person shooter. Everybody has defensive CDs. You need to win the duels first, and then you're able to punch them in the throat. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Let's take some notes. What for Echo and Tracer needs to be practiced?
What do I need to practice?
All right, Echo is pretty much just a minor detail with the stickies, so let's focus more on Tracer. What needs to be practiced with Tracer?
I don't chase like tanks. Don't chase like a target like Ryan.
Good. Chasing. Much. Control backlines. What else?
I need to be set up in places where like I can actually use my abilities to like start tickling them. I don't need to go for 1 clip.
Yep. Those are the big ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else major? We talked about a lot of things, but anything else?
I could think like the first point when I was on tack, I could poke Ryan from a different angle, so I could like be set up better.
Sure.
So like, just think of like 2 steps, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, so on.
More important than anything else were the etc. stuff that we talked about, right?
Yeah.
What were those things? What were the ones that stood out to you right now? And I know they stood out because you'll remember them because we talked about a lot of them.
Oh boy.
How are you going to get to Overwatch League or the equivalent of?
Use my time like wisely. Like use my time like with like good resources instead of like brain dead queuing ranked. I could like I need to get on a team, which like we're kind of getting close to, but like some people are just kind of AFKing like this or MIAing, which is just kind of strange. But yeah, I after scrims I could always VOD myself. Don't queue up ranked immediately because that's brain dead. And I could take breaks between rank grind.
Give me pause just for a second. So self-reviewed.
Yeah.
Check this last point I just put in there. See that?
Yep.
Do you understand what that means?
Like, yeah, you kind of touched on it, like, a little bit. Like, don't, like, VOD review, like, this one part for, like, an hour, just 10 minutes, like, and just don't, like, waste a lot of time.
When you tell me that I felt useless Rialto third point attack, that's a I need to self-review this moment.
Okay.
Because what you do is you don't just review aimlessly looking for things to work on. You have, I felt terrible doing this. Why? What do I need to do differently? That way you are efficient with your time, right? You're not just like blumbering around. You know exactly what you're looking for. And I think if you had gone back and reviewed that, you might not have come up with exactly what we decided was the issue, but you would have come up with something.
Right.
And remember, it's better to be stupid than ignorant, right? Even if you come away with the wrong conclusion, if you practice coming away with conclusions and studying the game, you'll get better. And you'll get better at studying the game too. So don't just self-review indiscriminately, randomly, because I have to do it. Do you have any questions that you feel like you need to be answered? Do you have any problems or points in map where you weren't really sure what to do or weren't even sure if you're playing the right hero? Go look at those. And if not, then don't self-review. You don't need to. It's a tool. It's not a chore, right? You're not looking for boxes to check here, right? But okay. What else? Sorry, I interrupted you. Taking breaks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Oh yeah, sleep. Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sleep. Yeah. Today I completely like off the like, but my sleep today was just janky.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I say it's okay. It's really not okay, but it doesn't need to be fixed. It doesn't need to be fixed. It just needs to be improved.
It was like so janky because I had work today early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I went to sleep at 9 p.m. I somehow woke myself up at 1 a.m. with no alarm, no nothing. And I just slept for 4 hours, went to work, came back. Like, it was so janky for no reason. Like, I don't know how that even happened.
It happens. It happens. Don't worry about it. Your only goal, like anything else, is to be slightly better 1 month than it was the month before.
Okay.
The power of 5% better is monumental, right? If you could talk 10, 15, 20 more minutes, slightly better, consistent bedtime over the next couple of months, that in of itself is going to be helpful. That is good. That is better. Okay. Anything else?
Was there anything really else?
I think so. I think those are the big ones, I think.
Yeah,
those are the big ones.
Big ones for me.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Like, let's say if I want to do this again.
Sure.
Like later down the road.